Good evening. My name is Dave Waiser, and I'm CEO and founder of Gett. And before we start, and I give you some update about the company, I want to bring you interesting numbers and research about transportational market. Actually, many analysts provide different numbers about the size of the market, and I like the recent research from Morgan Stanley, who actually brought interesting perspective. And they said, to scale the market, or actually to count everything, we need to look in the total amount of global miles driven. And they came with a number that today, globally, people do 10 trillion miles. It's not surprising. You have 1 billion cars out there, 10,000 miles per car. You count the number of 10 trillion. And then they look at the total cost of ownership per mile, and they came with a number of $1. So eventually summing up as a $10 trillion market. What is interesting about it is if tomorrow that market becomes transportation as a service, then again, effectively, people are spending about $10 trillion as a toll. You look at this as cost of the vehicle, maintenance, insurance, and the rest, parking and gas, altogether is about 10 trillion. Now, look at this market, and what was really fascinating to me is then we look at the total miles driven on demand for the companies such as Gett and Uber and others. What is interesting to learn, it's about only 5%. So effectively, we're in a tipping point when on-demand is just 5%. What is interesting about this class is that it still grows about threefold year over year, while car ownership continues to be flat. What it means that by 2025, about 25 up to 50% of the miles will be done on demand, effectively representing $2 up to $5 trillion market. It's actually the second largest market in the world after real estate. Fascinating, to my opinion. So let me show where we stand as a Gett. We're actually well positioned to capture most of that value, being present right now in 100 cities across Europe and US. Actually, it's a powerhouse that focusing on those two key markets. We have such key cities like London, Moscow, and New York. But what makes Gett different is that already today, in our first country, we're already profitable. And as a matter of fact, we're actually profitable for more than 2 years in the EBITDA and cash flow basis, something that is give a proof of concept to the financial model that rest of the on-demand is currently doing. In London, more than half of all black cabs today using Gett technology. We actually have a national coverage in the UK as much as in many other countries. This is interesting. This is New York, and to the point of Juno, this is actually very fascinating data. Gett plus Juno achieved speed of growth and the pace faster than historically Lyft or Uber been showing in New York. And as of today, we have more supply, equal amount of supply as Lyft in New York. And obviously, we're well set to become number 2 in New York pretty quickly. Company achieved a scale of more than 100 million rides a year, and we're still growing nicely. In the last quarter of Q4, we did 100% growth quarter to quarter. When you look on the quarterly basis and you look in the amount of miles driven, to my previous point, we're about to achieve billion kilometers this year, which is significant. Again, still nicely growing. In Q3, we doubled. In Q4, we doubled again. But what makes Gett, again, unique is that from early days, we've been equally successful with B2B corporate offering. Actually, as a matter of fact, we've been the first company who offered on-demand transportation in the corporate segment. We did it in 2011. Our first customer was Google, and the second one was Disney. And then 7,000 other corporations, actually all of the majors, joined the platform and using it today worldwide. Some of the clients you can see here, but again, about half of Fortune 500 are clients of Gett today for the corporate product. To summarize, we continue to grow threefold year over year. We have about 150,000 vehicles on the system, already profitable on the cash flow basis and EBITDA in our first country. We enjoy excellent unit economics as driven by corporate. All in all, company raised about 640 million, where 300 came from VW last year. And company obviously continued to invest in our core, which is tech and everything around better positioning, matching, and pricing. And this is core, and the cutting edge technology is a core of company like Gett, and obviously joining Juno, who made an amazing progress in the space, as you heard previously, achieving technological advantage that we never see before, especially in such a short time. Having VW as a shareholder, we obviously see a mutual future of launching autonomous transportation service on demand, and we're looking forward to that technology to be available. When you look on the metrics, again, with any marketplace, the delicate balance is how you actually grow supply and demand in a very close ratio, especially how you do that at scale and how you accelerate while doing so. So we enjoy that delicate balance, and we keep growing at scale and still accelerating. What I like the most on this slide is actually a very key metric for any marketplace, and I like to see exactly that metric. When you look at the cohorts of the users, you see that across last 24 months, the users who join the system, should it be passengers or drivers, they continue to use the system, they stay within the system, and as a matter of fact, they start to use it more. Why it's important? Because we obviously operate in a very competitive space, and those users have a choice. They can choose to use any other platform. The fact that they stay with the platform and actually using it more says that they find value, and we generate value for them, and they continue to use it. Drivers actually use it 40% more since their first months, and users about 20%. This is a great metric. To summarize, we enjoyed the global coverage, Europe, US. With the acquisition of Juno, we feel more powerful in the US, especially with the recent progress in New York. We continue to be global leader in B2B space. We're obsessed with quality. As a result of our great drivers, the score is much higher on the system, and the quality is seen in every metric of our system. Obviously, we're looking forward to autonomous vehicle coming soon, and Gett continue to be safe and fully licensed from early days until today. Just to remember to my previous point, we're just ahead in the tipping point, and 5% penetration, that's total amount of miles that on demand is driven today. So looking forward to another 95. We're just in the beginning. Thank you very much.